And good afternoon, Facebook, or good evening, Facebook, wherever you are in the world. This is Steven, and my guest today is Simon Raybould. Good afternoon, Simon.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be.
Indeed, I mean, our audience could well be anywhere around the globe, because it's 6 p.m. in the UK, it's 1 p.m. on the eastern coast of the States, and 10 a.m. on the west coast of the States. So we've got to cater for all time zones. Now, would you like, because I'm on here every day and people tell me that I'm on here too much, but as this is your first occasion on BeLive.tv, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Simon. I have, a long time ago, I was a research scientist. I have a PhD in very hard sums. For the last 10 years or so, however, I've been working as a presentations trainer, telling people, training people, helping people to stand in front of an audience and not look like an idiot, or look like less of an idiot. Well, you know, some things are, you know, let's aim for the stars, like not be an idiot. Let's just settle for not look like an idiot. And it's more fun than any job has a right to be, because you know, one day I'm working with internet security experts and learning about internet security presentations, and next week I'm learning about social science type stuff, which means I just learn as much about their material as they learn about my skills for presentations. And so it's a fascinating way to earn a living. It's great. Really like it.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the pleasure of talking back in the days of Blab, which was about 12 months ago. And we're going to revisit that now as we talk about online courses, because now I can say that I'm an online, get my words right in a minute.
Obviously, with respect, you can't say. We've just proved that. You physically can't say it.
Yes, I can. You're not going to convince me otherwise. I am an online course tutor. And I'd just like to say hello before we get started for real. I'd like to say hello to Tish. Hello, Tish. Good to see you here.
And your guest. Hello, Tish.
Yes, and to Jason. People joining us from around the globe. And I'm trying to catch up here. Krishna, who is a fellow member of the PSA. And I said earlier, your fame precedes you, Simon.
I think it's infamy rather than fame, but okay, I'll take your word for that.
Right. And
Karinda
is joining us, and he's doing a security show in the morning, which I'm looking forward to be part of. And Karinda says, hi, Stephen Simon. So thank you.
Hello, Karinda. How you doing?
To Roy. You want to say hello to Roy?
Hello, Roy. We're going to be here all night. If people keep coming in, I'm just saying hello to everyone as they come in. The entire show will be hello.
What I'm going to do is every sort of 10 minutes or so, we'll take a natural break and I'll introduce the comments.
Works for me.
If you want to join us on the show, and Simon and I are probably going to go for about 15, 20 minutes, then there's a link up above. If you click that link, you can come and join us on air. But for the moment, we have a mission, and that mission is, as I am now an online course tutor, to talk about online courses.
Yay!
We got there. That brings me to my first question, which I'm going to bring up on the screen so I don't forget it.
Okay.
Right. So why do you teach online? Why create online courses?
4 or 5 reasons. The obvious one, to be honest, is that not everybody can get to live training. So even if you're in a position where the live training is better than the online training, which for some things it is, not everybody can physically get there. So, for example, I've got clients in Argentina and the Falkland Islands, and there's an interesting combination of clients. They physically can't get to the UK for training, so they get access to training that way. Another reason for online training is that very often we find it's, we call it a gateway training. People want to come to live training, but they're too nervous. They feel so frightened of making presentations that they want something before the whole thing kicks off, if you see what I mean, so that they don't feel quite so frightened when they come to live training. And another reason, of course, is that some things actually genuinely can be taught at least as well, if not better, online. So, for example, the technology bits of what we do as presentations trainer, some of those things can actually be taught better. So, for example, the classic example would be how to use various setup and gadgets and tricks and things within PowerPoint. The classic example being presenter view. so that what you see on your screen is different from what the audience sees on its screen. It's easier to teach that using an online course than it is to do it live, because if people have got a video of how to do it, they can see the click-throughs on the screen that you have to do, and they can play the video again and again and again. So some things are just genuinely better and easier taught that way. But to be honest, the main advantage for us as an organisation is that middle one of it being a breakthrough thing. It allows people to feel just that little bit more confident in terms of moving on to live training. Different strokes for different folks, but for us, that's the main reason.
Right. I also came across an instance today where live training is too fast. You there for the day. You're on a training course. You've got 6 hours, and that's it. It's the whoosh effect, isn't it? That after a certain number of hours, your brain just says, "Hang on a minute,
I've had enough." The presentation skills is particularly like that, and we try and get that past by 2 ways. The first of which is to say to people, we will provide free email support for anybody who's been on our live training courses for 2 months, so they can have as much email feedback if they want to. But the other way of doing it is providing the live training supported by the online training, so that the online training then works as a revision for the live training. So the 2 things go nicely hand in hand.
So it reinforces it, and basically, once you buy a course, it's yours for life, isn't it? It's a lifetime.
Well, it is for us. I mean, different trainers provide things in different ways, but for us, yes, once you've bought it, you've got it forever.
Yeah, and you can replay it as many times as you wish.
Yep.
And take it step by step and slow it down and read the instructions over and over.
And replay and replay and replay. Yeah.
Right, now this brings me to the next sort of formal question, because we are going to go off at tangents. I know that, you know that.
let's pretend we're organised for the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just turn my camera off for a minute while I drink a cup of tea. Nobody saw that.
Nobody saw that, but I can actually, I'm not going to, but I can actually take you off screen should the need arise. I can take myself off screen. Such as live.tv. Right, now, I'm most interested in, we've gone through why you teach online, but obviously there are a number of platforms that you can actually teach online on. Now, the whole idea of this is to share your knowledge with people and get paid for it. That's why we're doing it.
That's it.
But how you do that, there are many different ways. So can you just talk for a moment about which platform you use and why?
Right. We use a platform called Thinkific. And there came a point when I was looking for new platforms. We had our courses written, and it was a question of where we're going to host them. So I spent a week doing nothing except registering for free trials for different platforms and uploading my courses. And now, some of those, he just looked at them and thought, this is a car crash. It's been coded by monkeys, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. And you got that idea very, very quickly. Others, you kind of thought, yes, it's okay from my point of view. And it wasn't until you tried it from the user's point of view where you thought, yeah, this is a square wheel from the user's point of view. I ended up at Thinkific for a number of reasons. The first is their pricing model is very flexible. They've got various levels. Another is that if you can work WordPress, you can work Thinkific. Now, as it happens, I've got a coding background, so I can write code behind that if I need to. But if people don't need to, then if they don't know how to, then they've got that option. But to be honest, it was the thing that really hooked me in was the support, because I sent them an email and went, look, your default profile template looks like this. I can't find a way of turning off this little thing here, which I don't want. Have I missed something? And 10 minutes later, literally 10 minutes later, they sent me an email back that went, yeah, you're right, you can't turn it off, sorry. An hour later, they sent me an email back that went, no, you can't, but we've manually hacked your instance of it and removed it for you.
Right.
As a coder, I know that all they've done is gone into their code base and put comment lines in front of the bits that I didn't need. But just the fact that they got back to me within 10 minutes to say it couldn't be done and apologise, and then manually went and edited the the stuff for me so that I got some personal service. I thought you can't really beat that.
No,
it's
I mean,
not. Sorry, go on.
I mean that's the key, isn't it? Personal service, because some of these sites where you can put your courses on are very impersonal.
Yeah, I mean, Thinkific is big. Don't get me wrong; it is a big commercial platform, and that, in a sense, reassured me that it wasn't going to fall down and so on. But the idea of having a big commercial platform and then that level of personal service was just fab.
Yep.
And getting to learn the platform was very easy as well, because they run weekly webinars when you can just turn up, learn about topic X, ask questions. Now, obviously, they can't customize everything, because if everybody's asking about X and you want to know about Y, then you're stuffed. But it does mean that there's an FAQ level of customization for their webinars, which they do weekly, and can't fault it. Bob's your proverbial uncle, really.
Yep. Once you've been through everywhere else and you've got one that you're happy with, then that's the one you go with. And just to confirm, I'll put a clickable link in later, but someone's talking about thinkific.com.
That's it, yeah.
I'm going to hide that now. Right, so we've talked about your background, and I should have put Dr. Simon Raybould when I put the thing up, because that's the truth, isn't it?
It is, but a long time ago, my kids were riding in the back of the car, and I was taking them and their friends to school. One of my daughter's friends turned to my elder daughter and went, "What is your daddy? What kind of doctor is he?" And my elder daughter went, "Yeah, it's called a FUD." Right, PhD. It's called a FUD. I think it's a bit like a brownie badge, but it might be harder. And that was it. That's it. So I have a PhD called a FUD. It's like a brownie badge, but a little bit harder.
Excellent tale. Tale.
That is the daughter that's not in the will any longer. It's just pure coincidence.
Okay. Now, on to the course that we're going to talk about today, because your background has meant that you provide presentation skills training throughout the UK to professionals and amateurs alike. And just want to explore for a moment the course that you've created over time, which is available on Thinkific, on your website.
A big showcase course.
The title of that course is the Complete Presentation Skills Training. Now, what we're going to do is go into a couple of topics, including my favourite topic in a moment, which will help everybody who's watching. But for the moment, can you just go with the whole theme of the course and what the course provides and who it's for?
Well, there's such hubris in that title, it's unbelievable, because no presentations course is ever going to be complete. What that course does is start you from let's deal with why you're doing a presentation, let's deal with the nerves of a presentation, let's deal with planning your presentation, let's deal with designing your slides and your structure, let's deal with knowing when your presentation is a success, let's deal with asking questions. So it goes through the whole thing, step by step by step by step by step. Starting with why are you doing it, and ending with what should you drink to celebrate afterwards. Okay, I'm not serious about that last bit, but it goes through. It's in modules, hence the reason we call it the complete presentation skills course is because you can buy the individual modules that go with it. I have to say the most popular two bits of the course are the how to design your presentation and how to deal with nerves. Those are the bits that people just go back to and play the videos over and over and over again.
Well, we're going to come to my favourite topic then, because you just mentioned it. Because when we last talked, obviously you give training to people who are standing up in front of a large audience, but there are an increasing number of people who are thinking about going on live video, and it's frightening.
Yeah,
and people
so it should be. So it should be.
People get nerves. So could we just sort of talk for a moment about dealing with nerves as a presenter, be it
right.
physical,
whether it's a live thing or online, kind of doesn't matter. The nerves hit. A couple of things to say before we start. Nerves are good. Nerves show you care. The day you stand up to make a presentation or sit in front of the camera to make a presentation and you are not nervous, you shouldn't be making that presentation, because the nerves are an indication of the fact that you care. And if you don't care, well, why the hell are you doing it? I nearly said a rude word. Why the flipping heck are you doing it? You know, so celebrate the nerves and be really, really pleased about them. Right? Because if they're not there, you're either dead or lying or boring. Now, there's a sweeping generalization. Some people can be fascinating and not nervous, but they do tend to be the pros rather than rather than real people. There's lots of research into how and why and all that kind of stuff, but basically there are a bunch of tools I can give if you're interested in how to deal with it. And people will have heard of the power pose stuff. Have you come across that recently? The Amy Cuddy power pose stuff?
If you could explain, that would be most helpful.
Okay, the power pose stuff. Researcher called Amy Cuddy. Now, there's been some follow-up research on this which cast doubts on it, and then some more research that validated it, and a whole bunch of toing and froing. But basically, Amy Cuddy observed that, I'm simplifying here, but she noticed that when you're scared, you kind of go, and when you're confident, you come up. And she hypothesized that there might be a feedback mechanism, so that the standing up is part of what makes you confident. So not only do you stand up because you're confident, but standing up might also help make you confident. And she did quite a lot of research into it, and putting people in really weird poses and all that kind of stuff, and made them stand there. And after she standardized for how much the pose hurt, which I thought was a fascinating sentence in the research, standardizing for pain. Just right there in that one phrase, there's a whole tranche of research, isn't there? After standardizing for pain, because basically what she means is standing like that on one leg physically is stressful. It physically is. So after standardizing for pain, she discovered that yes, there is something to the idea that standing up and expanding makes you feel more confident. So she came up with the concept of power pose, which is the idea if you stand in these powerful poses, you'll start to feel more confident. And of course, the press got hold of it and simplified it and turned it into an abomination. And they've referred to it now as the Wonder Woman pose. And for all of you who've never seen Wonder Woman or read any Wonder Woman comics, do not look at the Batman versus Superman movie, because that's not where we're going with this. That's a whole different type of Wonder Woman. But basically, we're talking about the idea of standing up with your hips, akimbo, and your fists on the outside of your hips, your feet apart, and you're still basically standing up tall with your arms out wide and that kind of stuff. So the idea is if you do that just for a couple of minutes before you go on stage, it helps you to stimulate all the feel-good hormones and all the confident level hormones. There's another researcher called Alison Wood-Brooks who's done some fascinating research about just renaming nerves, which I think is really, really powerful. Because, you've slipped away from it there. Oh, hello. And her research suggests that all you need to do in some instances is just call it a different thing. Because she's observed that most of the presentation's nerves stuff tries to do two things at once. It tries to get you from I'm scared and high energy to I'm confident and low energy. And that's that's trying to do two things to your brain, and your brain's not like stupid, and it can't be fooled that much. So she says, instead of going from high energy scared, let's try going to high energy good. So basically, she just says, if you, instead of telling yourself you're nervous and telling your friends you're nervous and all of that kind of stuff, if you literally just say to yourself, I am excited, it starts a feedback mechanism with that inside your body, which starts to cut the nerves down a little bit. That, I think, is a remarkably powerful tool. And the downside of her research is that when people say to you, are you scared about the presentation? And you go, actually, I'm not scared, I'm excited. That's their response. You stop getting all the sympathy that you would normally have got. The nerves go away to a large extent, but so does the sympathy. So you may want to just. Sometimes it's worth trading off nerves for sympathy and getting people to feel sorry for you. It depends on the nature of the presentation again. So those are two quite recent little bits of little bits of research. I could go on about this for hours. Do you want to keep going with different tools? Or?
For the moment, if we take a break on that, because you're talking about that topic has encouraged Jacqui to join us. So I'm going to bring Jacqui on screen so that we can carry on the conversation. Hello, Jacqui.
Hello.
Hi, Jacqui. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I was just sitting editing some of my courses when I saw that you guys were live, and I thought, oh, stop editing. I'm fed up of talking to myself on camera. I'll come and join you.
So this boils down to it was slightly less boring than what you're supposed to be doing. Is that what you're saying?
No. This is more interesting than I was doing. I've spent the afternoon. I'm doing a mini course, and I spent the afternoon sitting just talking to myself on camera and trying different pieces of equipment and standing up and sitting down, and I have a little Logitech C922 webcam, which is absolutely brilliant. So I've been moving that over there, trying my webcam, trying different microphones. I've had a day.
You can spend your entire day doing that and not actually creating content though, if you're not careful, can't you?
And then that's pretty much what happened. And then I thought, do you know what? I'm going to stop doing that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit at my desk and do what I need to do. Because this camera is amazing. And even though I'd much prefer to stand up, because then you can like really manage the breath. Sometimes you just got to work with what you've got, which is sitting down and managing breath from this position. But it is better to stand up. But if you could see the room I was in, you would understand why I'm sitting. And chaos.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Standing up is easier to control your nerves and a whole bunch of things. But I'm sure I'm teaching my grandma to suck eggs here, of course. I know.
I'd never say that.
Well, if you're sitting in the right position, with your hips in the right position, it's almost as good as standing up. It's not as good because you've still got some diaphragm compression. But as long as you're sitting in the right way, then you're okay. So, for example, I'm sitting on a stool in order to make sure that I'm sitting. Now, the downside of that is it's a swivel stool, and I keep wanting to play and do this and just go around in circles and things, which is the downside. But it does mean at least I'm sitting in the right position.
I think what we all need, like I said, I've just been listening back to some of the stuff that I was recording this afternoon, and remembering that, you know, this thing called the breath, this thing that actually keeps us alive when we're making courses or doing anything. And if we can't stand up, like you just said, you know, standing up enables you to manage it better. But if you have to sit in this position, is just remember that we don't have to gabble really quickly. We can just take some breaths, take some time, remembering to pause, and remembering that, you know, that it is difficult when you're sitting down, but just trying to bring that breath all the way down into our stomach so that what we're saying is more focused. I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with any of that.
Sorry, I was lost in my breath then. As I was saying it, I was actually following my breath right down into my stomach. So it's okay. I've been to yoga today, so you know, I was doing a lot with the breath this morning. So yeah.
I spend a lot of my time in live courses. This is not something I've managed yet to do properly online. But I spend a lot of my time in live courses helping people with diaphragm breath rather than intercostal breath. So you're absolutely right. It's arguably the most powerful tool for controlling nerves. One of the most powerful tools for making it look like you've controlled your nerves, even if you haven't, because you get your voice in the right place. But it's also the one that sometimes people seem to be most confused by most of the time.
Do you ever suggest that one of the things I was going to is years ago, I went and had some singing lessons. I don't sing. Don't ever ask me to sing. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you is if you ever suggested that people went for singing lessons. Because I remember when I had these singing lessons, I actually did it with a friend, which is totally embarrassing. You know, when you've got a friend and you go in and you say, I want to have some singing lessons so I can learn how to speak properly. And
Right.
I just really want to...
Singing lessons very, very, very rarely, but just occasionally. there is a lot in the breath, and I guess it's the breathing thing that you're talking about there.
Yeah.
I will often suggest that people go to some drama classes in order to learn how to breathe properly.
Okay.
The breath is the same for projecting on stage as it is for singing, with the advantage that if you're doing the drama thing, you learn to hit consonants much more hard. I've just done something awful to the English language there, haven't I? But, sorry, you know what I mean.
You forgive me. This is live, and we can all make.
Edit it out, Steve. Quick, edit it out.
I can't. We're live.
Damn it!
Now,
but you know what I mean? Because for singers...
Tough luck. This is
for singers, it's all about the vowel and the sustain, because that's what gets it to the back of the room. For speakers, while that is important, consonants are how your audience figures out what it is you're actually saying.
Okay.
And you can actually get away with much weaker vowels than a singer can, so long as your consonants are hard. Now that's less important online because you've got a microphone that's you can almost whisper and get away with it.
My microphone's over there. I've got my headset on because I've just been listening to my me gabbling. But I've got my Yeti here in a sound booth.
All hail the Yeti. This is I love the Yeti microphones. The only problem with them, I find, is that they're so damned good. It picks up the planes that are flying overhead if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's interesting because I used to use my spare bedroom as my office, and because it had furniture in, and because I live in Spain and I live in an old house and it's very quirky, lots of little rooms. Because it had furniture in, it absorbed the sound. And then I decided to rip out, I'm on 3 floors, what was the old kitchen. I'm now in a room that has a desk and there's nothing else in it. So when I went to...
Everything echoes off all the walls and the ceiling and back again, yeah.
It drove me insane. I was sitting here and I desperately wanted to be recording, and it didn't matter whether I used a lapel mic or whether I used this. My Yeti, nothing worked. And then I bought, this thing is called, if anyone's interested, it's called, I can't actually show, it's called a Lynx Pro, a VRI-10 sound absorber panel. And it's just like, it's like a little metal thing with all foam stuff inside. And do you know what? It is amazing. So I'm sitting in this room that's not particularly big, that without it, the sound is absolutely appalling. But with this little thing just around my darling little Yeti, what a difference it makes.
Cool, I'll try that. I cheated. I got lots of egg boxes.
Well, I looked a load of stuff on YouTube with all these people that were making things, and I think my mum said to me, "Why don't you put your head under a blanket?" And I thought, that's a good look for an online course.
No, she's just like, yeah, you've got a great face for a blackout. That's what she's telling you there.
I think she was she couldn't possibly be dissing me, but I'm sure. But yeah, it's like, Mum, I can't do that because you won't see him on my camera.
Can I play devil's advocate for a second here? Because while I agree with you about the Yeti and the Echo and all of that kind of jazz, there's an awful lot of online courses where, including some of mine, including where the audio and the video is hosted at either Vimeo or YouTube.
Yeah.
And the quality of sound at that point isn't as good as it would be for a dedicated. So people are kind of sometimes used to relatively low quality audio type stuff, so long as you give them really, really good content. I'm not saying that what you're doing is great, but sometimes you can get away with it, you know. And if your idea, you know, for example, there's a video I know Steve wants to talk about my pie video earlier on, later on, and the pie video, not great audio, but it's gone viral because the content is kind of my word type.
Right. So, well, sorry, Jackie, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, I think part of the problem is, and I don't want to, I'm going to use the word anal, perfectionist. I want everything to be as good as it can be, and yeah.
I'm not. Just like my wife, I'm not.
Well, I started off my online course life on Skillshare.
Right.
And once I got my first course in, then I've got to say, after that, the quality, it just didn't have to be there. It was all about content.
Yeah.
Then I moved over to Udemy, and its content is king, but you've got to get the sound perfect. You've got to get the video perfect. Now, this leads into a question which has arisen while we've been talking, and it's fate that has brought the two of you together at this point in time, because the question is, quite simply, if I can find it, it's somewhere down here.
So slick.
I know, totally slick. It's if I could read, I'd be doing a lot better.
Let's go for even slicker. Nobody can see I'm drinking a cup of tea.
Right, okay. Right. The question has been asked, and I'm going to remember it. There's somebody who's watching us now who is wobbling between Thinkific and Teachable.
Okay.
And as we have you both here today, and Jacqui, you're moving from Udemy to Teachable, can we just do a sort of short comparison, and then we'll move on to the final?
Okay, go for it, Jacqui.
What I did, Stephen, was I looked at a number of different options. So this comes back to this strange inner perfectionist person thing that lives inside of me. So I looked at Thinkific, I looked at Zenler, I looked at Teachable, and I looked at installing a WordPress plugin called LearnDash. I've previously used LearnDash, but that means you've got to host it yourself. You need an Amazon S3 account, blah, blah, blah. I like Thinkific, I like Zenler, but for some reason, you know, it's personal preference. I like Teachable. I like the way that it's structured. I like its ease of use. I like the online forum. I like the fact that they are responsive. So for me, I think it was a kind of ease of use, visual, and if I'm right, I believe that Teachable came out of people who'd used Udemy and decided they wanted to do it better.
That's right, it did. The reason Teachable came out just after I'd gone live with Thinkific, and I looked long and hard about moving over to it. For me, there is one huge advantage to Thinkable. No, one small advantage to Thinkable, which is that Thinkable pays you as soon as it gets paid.
All right.
Thinkific hangs on to the money for a month and pays you in monthly lumps. Now, you know, that's only going to make pennies worth of difference in terms of actually how much money you get, but Teachable does have that advantage. Now, the reason I didn't move over was because for me, the advantage of that wasn't worth the hassle of export everything, shunt it along, re-import everything, and all of that kind of jazz. I got Thinkific up and running, and it wasn't worth the move over. But if you're coming at it from cold, then Teachable is, yeah, good option.
I love it. But what I did was when Thinkific and, in fact, when all of the platforms had a Udemy import, I literally just got, I mean, I've got 12 courses on Udemy. I just literally sat and imported all the courses over, and then I played with it all. You see, donkeys years ago, I worked in the IT industry. So I worked in software. And so even though I was in sales and marketing, sometimes I was pulled in to do software testing. So I like to play with things to see how it works, how I can break it. And I mean, I have wasted it. I think it's called procrastination. I spent a lot of time fiddling, but in the end, it came down to it, and it was Teachable all the way. I really, really do like it.
Yeah, it looks okay. It looks good. And maybe if I was starting from scratch, maybe I would go for Teachable. Honestly, don't know. As I said, Stephen, before you arrived, the thing that decided me to think if it was the customer care. I got private personal emails within minutes of asking a question, and it was good enough. And I got to the point of thinking there might be something better out there, but this works. And if it works very well, and while I could actually get that extra 10-15% of improvement, I'd have had to spend an extra month of hassle of you know. So
you've got to find a platform and stick to it, and it's like however you like. You know, it's like any piece of software that you buy. You have a list of criteria, and you know, if I take myself back to my old software days, if I was looking for a CRM system, I personally would look at 5 pieces of software after I'd have a list of criteria, I'd look at 5 companies, I'd whittle it down to 3, I'd get other people involved, and then we'd have demonstrations, but it was against a set of criteria. And yep. That's pretty much what you got to do. You got to say, well, what's important to me? And then go and review these systems and buy it. Don't just buy it because someone else says. Actually have a set of criteria. I need a system that does this. I need it to integrate with this payment system. I need it to host this. Whatever, I don't know. But just have a list of criteria.
And those criteria should be written before you start shopping. Because otherwise you will subconsciously modify that list of criteria in accordance with what you see people offering. Absolutely.
But you'll know, I mean, I whenever I do anything, I have a, what feels good for my heart, for my gut, and then my head comes last. So it's, I go through and I say, my heart loves it. What does my intuition tell me? And then my head does a logical, you've done all the fluffy stuff. Logically, which is the best of all of these things?
Yeah, see, I'm the other way around.
Okay. Well, I'm a girl.
Oh, don't give me the sexist tosh.
No.
You know as well as I do that it doesn't work like that. Honestly.
Damn.
I'm
sorry about that.
Sorry, Steve.
I'm going to attempt to bring this back onto the theme that we're talking about.
Oh,
so
wow.
Forgive me. No, it's brilliant. We're talking about the complete presentation skills training. We've talked about nerves, and I want to be introduced because it says here, introduction to the pie model.
Oh, pie, right. Pie.
I'm gonna step out then and let you carry on, guys.
Right. Cheers,
Jackie, take care. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Jackie and I will be back. Sorry, Simon, just saying. Jackie and I will be back talking about Jackie's course pretty soon. But not okay, take care.
Right. Okay, the pie model. Right. This is quite fun, actually. It's really simple, and it's one of those ideas that the more you look at it, the more complicated and profound it gets. But the actual starting point of it is really simple. The research I did for Presentation Genius, the book, I just, like, my brain melted, like 400 pieces of academic research plus books plus I synthesized a lot of that into the pie model when I looked at what it is that makes people change their behaviors at the end of a presentation. Because we have this wonderful idea that if you give people a logical reason for doing things, then they will do it. And sadly, that's not true. Okay, I'm going to tease you here, Steve. Okay, so I see you're vaping. Everybody.
Sorry, what? I was off camera. You don't tell people.
Everybody I know. Everybody I know who smokes knows that it's bad for them.
Yep.
Right, but they do it anyway. Because the logical thing of knowing it's going to kill me isn't enough to change their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have something else in addition to that. So the pie model, think of it as a filter for how you get people to change their minds. And the P is an acronym. It stands for physical, intellectual, emotional, PIE. And if you're going to have a decent presentation, online or off, and if you've got that presentation is going to change people's minds, you need to pass all those 3 thresholds. So you have to have physical communication. It's very simple. It's physical communication. Can they hear me? Can they see me? Are my slides big enough? Is my font big enough? Am I writing in Comic Sans or am I writing in a grown-up font? And I know I'm teasing. Don't start shooting arrows about Comic Sans. Is my contrast ratio good enough? Can people see the slides? Right? So assuming they can physically see what we're talking about, then you get down to the level of intellectual communication, which is, do they understand here in their head what it is that I'm being told about? Mm-hmm. That doesn't change people's behaviors on its own. What changes their behavior is when it passes from there, I'm going to have to stand up, to there.
Yep.
And they start knowing it not in their heads, but in their guts. So for example, I'm going to go back to the smoking example. My PhD is in medical geography. I was looking at the causes of childhood leukemia, so kind of cancer type stuff is big in my head. And I went back and looked at what it was that changed people's behaviours for smoking. for example. Now, there's lots of things you can do to get them to change, to increase the success rate of giving them smoking, for example, a little bit. So by telling them it's going to kill them and all of that kind of jazz. But it turns out that at one point, now the figures have changed recently, but it turned out that at one point there was one thing which almost doubled people's ability to give up smoking, which was when they survived a heart attack. Obviously, if they didn't survive the heart attack, then they stopped smoking. But you know, you get what I mean. So they survived they smoked for about 30 seconds in the crib, but apart from that, they don't smoke. Sorry if I've just upset anybody.
No, you're okay. Carry on.
I didn't know that. But it becomes a point where knowing it's going to kill you doesn't actually have any effect. But surviving a heart attack where it does really nearly kill you, that is what changes people's behaviours. So the pie model for presentations is basically saying you need to have physical communication, and there's a whole raft of stuff about that to do with cognitive load and all that kind of stuff. Then you have intellectual communication, and there's a raft of information about that in terms of how you explain things to people. And then you have emotional or contextual information, which is how you get it into their hearts, as it were. And a lot of presenters instinctively know that they're supposed to do those things, but they don't have a structured model for it. So some of their presentations work, some of their presentations don't, and they don't know why it is that some do and some don't. But the pie model gives people a structure for figuring out which presentations worked and why they worked. So if a presentation didn't work, it's usually because one of those three things, well, it's always because one of those three things wasn't handled properly. It's a very, very simple framework, but you can drill down into the physical, you can drill down into it and so on if you want to get into more detail about it.
It's an effective, proven way of actually achieving that. Yeah. Because what we all want at the end of the day is, well, why are we doing this? I suppose that's my next question. Why do we present?
To change the world. The strapline for one of my websites is better presentations, change your world. That's why.
It's as simple as that. We're doing this to change somebody's behaviour in relation to the topic that we're interested in.
Yeah. So, for example, nobody makes presentations about the new tax legislation. People make presentations about the new tax legislation so that people adopt the new legislation.
Right.
Does that make sense? It's to change behaviour. Nobody makes a presentation about the new software. They make presentations about the new software so that people know how to use it. Is that making sense?
It's making total sense, and to audience as well. I just want to read this back to you. I know you're in full flow. My apologies.
That's right.
Good stuff. And Sandy's saying she's going to have to watch this again. There you are. You see, that's the power of presentation.
The money is in an envelope in the post, Sandy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's changed in our world, which is the live video world, is that so many people now are becoming presenters, and we're just mere mortals, and we've got to take an organised, structured path to becoming presenters. And I've got to keep going while Simon drinks his tea, which is fair. If you want to join us on camera,
such a pro.
You want to ask Simon a question, then please do click the link which you'll find up above. I'll bring you onto the show. We are going to run, just so Corinda knows, for about another 15 minutes, because at the top of the hour we both turn into, well, we'll not say what we turn into, but it's time for tea. Right, so if you want to join us, then just come on there. Yeah, I mean, there's a skill set to be learned, isn't there?
There is. Now, other presentations trainers specialise in teaching and training people who want to be professional speakers. My speciality is training people who have to be professional speakers. So, for example, they may be accountants, and now they've been promoted. So instead of just being an accountant, now they have to explain accountancy. It's that kind of thing. But yeah, there is a skill set to be learned. Definitely a skill set to be learned. The bit of that skill set that I specialise in are those people who need to be able to make presentations rather than want to do it for the sake of hearing their own voice. I have very little patience for that.
Now, I told you earlier that a little story about who can present, and the lady Hoden who said to me that most people can't be presenters. And I took it as being most members of the general public can't be presenters, but she was saying that people who've been TV presenters can't make this transition to live video because they're so used to reading from the script.
That doesn't surprise me. But no serious hardcore presenter would go live without having a reasonable idea about what they were going to say. And a genuine improv is incredibly difficult.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is. I mean, the fact is that we did have, before we started today, we met for about 10 minutes and discussed exactly what was going to be in here, and we both knew what we're going to talk about, though we know that whenever you and I get together we tend to go off on tangents. And Jacqui joining today was absolutely brilliant because that's live at its best, because we've all known each other since around about 2005-06.
It's been as long as that.
Oh yeah, I'm afraid so. I mean, the other
did I have grey hair back then, or is it?
No, you didn't have grey hair. No. In
which case, it's you that's turned my hair grey, Steve. That's it's your fault.
Sorry about that. But this is one of those rare occasions when we're actually talking. We've actually met in real life. When you're doing your tour of Wiltshire.
Yes, I was training Wiltshire County Council, and I popped in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing just popped on my screen there. Scram, you meant squirrel team. What the hacking? I didn't have a chance to read that before it disappeared. Never mind.
All right, okay, I'll bring it back. Simon, do you mean squirrel team or the hacking team? Right, okay.
Not quite sure we get there, but squirrel is a UK slang term that we use for when somebody goes off on a tangent. You can be talking about topic X, and then halfway through topic X, you go, "Oh, squirrel!" You start talking about something else because it's a metaphor for seeing a squirrel out of the corner of your eye and chasing after it like a dog.
And it's been a long time. It has been. Right. Okay. So if you want to join us, just click the link and you can come on. Now, at the end of this, we will be putting links to our courses because we would like you to take a look at our courses and see what you think of them. If nobody is going to join us, I'm going to hand over to you, Simon, to wrap up this section.
What do you want me to talk about? You know what I said about no professional goes on stage and improvs. Yeah. Okay. Tell you what, shall I go back and go way back and just wrap up one little more trick about dealing with nerves? Would that be good handy for people?
Yep.
It's a very, very simple technical trick, and I've alluded to it earlier on. I think most proper presenters know about this, but people who are not hardcore presenters, it might be new to them. It's a little trick called presenter view. It's a magic button you can press in PowerPoint, which means that what you see on your laptop in front of you is different to what the audience sees up on the big screen. I cannot begin to describe how powerful it is in terms of dealing with nerves, because it means that you as the presenter can look at your laptop and see the current slide, the next slide, and notes. So that you've always got this crutch, if you like, but all the audience sees is the big current slide up on the screen behind you, or whatever it is. Now, how you turn on presenter view depends upon which version of PowerPoint you've got. Because as far as I can figure it, Microsoft have done the usual design sequence, which is, this is a powerful and useful feature, let's hide it. So sometimes it's in the view menu. The current version of PowerPoint, I think, has it in the default ribbon. But it's just a little technical trick. Keynote on Macs has that too. You're quite right, something just popped up. I first learnt of it on Keynote. I use Keynote, I don't use PowerPoint. I use PowerPoint in the sense that that's because most of my clients and most people still use PowerPoint. But it's a tremendously powerful little nerves tool, very, very handy little gadget. And you don't have to learn anything. It means that the stuff that you're trying to memorize is on the screen there for you. Yeah. But knowing the slide that's coming up next is a tremendously powerful little toy.
Well, it's not a toy. It's a practical aid to appearing, and this is the key, This is the key that both you and I know. It's the key to appearing professional.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
it's all about doing the swan thing. For anybody who's watching overseas, we have a saying in the UK that it's, you see the swan gliding along on the surface, but underneath the water it's paddling like hell. Nobody sees the legs paddling like hell. You just see the swan gliding past, looking very elegant. So being a presenter, being a pro is all about doing the swan thing. It's all about your audience not seeing the blind panic that's going on behind the scenes.
Well, I've got to say that I haven't had to do the swan thing today because, as usual, it's been a pleasure to talk. Time just flies by.
It beats working for a living, doesn't it? Beats working for a living, definitely.
Well, yeah, it's all good fun. Simon, I'd just like to say on behalf of everybody who's watched today and joined in and asked questions and made comments, I'd just like to say thank you.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Thank you too.
Most welcome. To everybody who has watched, we've enjoyed your company. I've no doubt that Simon and I will be back because this is a big topic and it's important that we actually get the message across.
What Stephen means is if you don't give us money, we will keep coming back.
It's true. And if you caught Jacquie on the screen earlier, Jacquie and I will be together either later this week or next week, and we're talking about Jacquie's speciality in online courses. And if you have, this is a shout out to everybody who's watching now, if you have your own online course, if you connect with me, then we can chat about it on BeLive.tv. It's been a pleasure, Simon. Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. Well, someone said, Corinda just said, where can we find Simon? PresentationGenius.info is the website. Right,
we'll put that. Thank you, Corinda, for the reminders. It's a teamwork here.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody else is on the ball, Steve, because you and I are.
No, indeed.
Right. Been a pleasure. Thanks very much, guys.
Right, see you all again soon. Bye.
Take care.